What is up, guys, and welcome back to a brand new video. Once again, we are back league racing again in ASR for F1 2017. This is the second round here in China. Hopefully we can get off to a better start than what we did in Australia and hopefully come away with a podium today. Now, just before I start off with this video, I got a lot of questions in the opening video, most of which saying, like, are these equal cars? Yes. All the cars are completely equal. You have the choice to download a setup, put your own setup on, and that's really the only differences that there are between all of the cars, apart from looking different. So, yeah, everyone has essentially an equal chance of winning, and the car choice was determined by the finishing order of Season 2. So I finished third, so I got third choice, and I chose the Ferrari to be alongside New Zealand Ryan, who won the championship in Season 2. So, yeah, hopefully that answers most of your questions. If you still have more, leave them down in the comments and I'll try and address them either in the comments or in the next video. But here we are in qualifying for the Chinese Grand Prix. As you can see here, everyone leaving the pit lane at the exact same time. It was just an absolute, traffic jam on this, kind of outlap, and it was paramount for me to find some track space, which we managed to do. I think we kind of rejoined on the track behind FLIRTING. Hopefully we don't catch him up and don't get too much dirty air around this racetrack. But so far, the lap has been fairly solid. It's been okay, hit all the apexes, no major mistakes, and puts us in second place with a 1 minute 33.5. Not really, stunning pace by any means. We're probably about a second away from the kind of ideal time you'd want to be on the front, a couple of rows, but it's a solid bank of time so far. But we're going to press on with another lap on the super soft tyres. We only get 12 minutes in these sessions to get a lap in, so you're under pressure, and in these league races, you can be fast as hell, but if you don't bang in a time that gets you near the front, then you're going to have a very difficult weekend. And I just wanted to make sure I got some solid times in my first run before I'd really bang in an absolute stunner at the end of the session. But as you can see here, we found another improvement. 2.5, maybe 3 tenths as we go through the final corner. Still the same set of tyres, lap 2 though, and it puts us in P4, 3 tenths away from Greekmaster, who I believe is topping the timesheets right now. So yeah, not too bad, but kind of there or thereabouts. I did a practice race with Greekmaster, FLIRTING, New Zealand Ryan earlier today, and I was there or thereabouts, so I was a little bit slower than them. I was able to stick with them in the first sector of the race. But to be fair, I was talking to my girlfriend the whole time, and I wasn't, I'm getting the excuses out already. I wasn't fully concentrating, but I made some adjustments to the setup, and after getting that race under my belt, I feel a little bit more confident heading into this one. We just need to qualify well. So we head out on track for the final run here in qualifying. Hopefully we can find, I'd say 4 or 5 tenths would put me, well inside the 32s, and that would put me up the front where we need to be. Master Berserk goes fastest with 1 minute 32.5. That's come out of nowhere, and that is really solid pace from him. Again, the reserve coming in clutch in qualifying. But for us, though, it's been a fairly nice start to the lap. That was not a great exit through turn 4, and you can just see we were up by almost 2 tenths, and because of that shitty exit, we've lost all that time, and we're now, red in the delta, which was, really frustrating. Exactly not what you want. And you can see here going through the middle sector, we've missed a couple of apexes, pushing a little bit too hard with understeer, and the delta is fluctuating quite a bit. It was going from green to red, and I was really, a little bit distracted, a little bit annoyed at that kept on happening. And then this right here was just the nail in the coffin for the lap. Got up on the curb, and I was delayed in putting on the throttle, and we lost, again, all of our margin. So, without the mistakes, we would have been up by that 4 or 5 tenth mark region on this lap. But looks like we might only marginally improve on our best lap, if that we set at the start of the session. We absolutely need to improve, though, because if we don't, we'll be starting on a set of tyres that have done 2 or 3 laps already through the final corner, and we're not going to improve at the end of the session. You are kidding me. We have missed out by 4 thousandths of a second on improving on our previous best time, and that is us starting well down the order for this Chinese Grand Prix. I cannot believe it. We're in 10th place, and I was watching everyone do their laps, and I was hoping that, people would improve and actually knock me out of the top 10 to give me free choice of the tyre sets, but no, it is indeed 10th place, and honestly, the worst starting position you could probably get for a league race. I mean, fair enough if you're at the front and you can have clean air, or even at the back you can get free choice of tyre and almost let everyone go into turn 1 and avoid the carnage, but when you're in the mix, when you're in P10, that's the worst position you can be in. You don't have free choice of tyres. You're in the pack, and that's where things happen. So, again, just like Australia, it has not been... it's not been a great start. You're just asking for trouble when you qualify this far back. We've got a lot of work to do, starting on the super soft tyres. I've done a few laps on them already. We're going to stop on lap 9 or 8, depending on how the race goes. Do the one stop. It is the faster of the two strategies. This is basically the exact same strategy I was going to run in the AOR Esports League. But we all know how that race turned out. It was like inters and dry and all kinds of weirdness, and we never got a true representation of that race. So hopefully today we can show our pace. We're a lot better than 10th place. My aim still is hopefully to get in the top 5 or a podium. But we're going to have to do a lot of overtaking to get there. 5 red lights. And we are underway now for round 2 of ASR Season 3. Good start, it must be said, up against iFence. He went absolutely nowhere off the line. Charlie gains 2 spots as well. And no, he's actually brake checked us heading into turn 1 and swiped at the Toro Rosso. And we've got some front wing damage at turn 1 on lap 1. It's unbelievable. I said this would happen. I absolutely said, like, 10th place, midfield is not where you want to be in these league racing championships, and we've got involved in the kerfuffling. I mean, it's kind of like green front wing damage. We've lost half of our left front end plate there, and yeah, that's going to cause some issues for us later on in the Grand Prix. Here's a replay of the start. You can see Charlie here. He's got no one in front of him. There's a big gap to the cars in front. I don't know if it's lag, but his car is just slowed down all of a sudden, slid out wide, and then took out the Toro Rosso, or like kind of pushed it off circuit. I don't think he's from Australia. I think he's from like Europe. So it might not be entirely down to him. It might just be, you know, unfortunately a bit of a lag incident. You can see his internet connection off in the distance. It's red barring, so that's probably what the cause is. But yeah, it doesn't really help out our race, does it? So yeah, we got a pretty interesting prospect now. We've got a couple people down the order as well who kind of had a domino effect behind me, chipping off their front wings. But for me, I have green front wing damage, and it to be honest, like, it doesn't look bad, but when you're driving, you get a whole wall of understeer. It's almost like having a yellow front wing. But the problem is with this level of damage is when you go into the pits, your pit crew won't acknowledge that you've got front wing damage, and they won't change it. So we have a serious problem for this race. If we, you know, don't find a way to change the front wing, or if we don't get any more damage to our front wing, then we're going to be stuck with this level of downforce for the rest of the Grand Prix. You can see just how far wide we were going out of the Snell section. That was the worst corner by far around the racetrack, because you're on the power and you're just depending on the downforce to get you through that corner, but nothing was happening. So I was looking on the options to see if there was a change front wing option. I've already enabled the you know, change front wing at the next pit stop, but I don't think it's going to work. So we're going to have to do something a little bit desperate here. We're going to have to try and damage our front wing. I know it's crazy, but we've got to do it to get yellow front wing and then be able to change it in the next pit stop. So I was hoping to get some damage there. Turns out it didn't, and I was going to pit at the end of that lap and get on with my race. But yeah, even with full damage on, swiping up against the wall at 300 kilometers an hour is not enough to chip off your front wing. So you know, you can look on the other sides, like all around the racetrack. There's nowhere really to hit off your front wing apart from the start-finish straight without it being too dangerous. So here we go again for take 2 of trying to get some front wing damage. Let's give it a slightly harder knock this time. Championship over. Fuck's sake.